Let's face it, the world of decorating is filled with so many questionable things that somehow makes our home look worse. So, in this video, we'll explore 10 popular items that I really think we should avoid buying. I totally understand that tastes are subjective, so if you happen to love any of these things, then by all means, it's your home. You should do what you like. But if you're on the fence or looking to make your home a bit more polished, then you may want to reconsider some of these. From fake books to word art, here are all the home decors and furniture pieces that you need to avoid. I totally understand if you're a college student who's living out of home for the first time, but if you're an adult and want your space to feel more polished, try to avoid unframed posters in your home as it is just not a good look. Can you imagine a book without a cover or a family portrait without a frame? It is not so much about what other people think, but putting unframed posters on your wall with tape or blue tack can damage the paper. So, if these posters actually mean something to you, then surely you'll want to protect and frame it, the same way you'll frame a family portrait. And if it doesn't mean anything, why hang them in the first place? Framing them can also be a relatively easy and affordable upgrade. IKEA has a lot of decent frames at really affordable prices. Or look into places like Framebridge if you want higher quality frames. Make sure that the panel has UV protection if your posters are valuable and you plan to hang them near a window. Otherwise, you'll be left with blue ink. It is especially a big no-no to have unframed posters when you have some framework in your room. You want your space to have a cohesive look, and having some pieces unframed while others are framed will only look disorganized. At the end of the day, framing your prints will not only give you a more sophisticated look, but it will also ensure the longevity of your posters as it will protect them from sun, dust, and moisture. Many people buy rugs that are too small for the space to save a bit of money. But having a rug that is too small will only end up making the space feel awkward and disjointed. Instead, get a rug that is big enough to fit all of your furniture on top of it. If you're getting one to go under your dining table, make sure it is big enough that you can pull all your chairs out from under the table without the legs falling off the rug. If you're getting a rug for your living area, your sofa and armchair should ideally sit fully on top of your rug. But you can also have just the two front legs of your sofa and armchair on the rug to ground the space. A rug that fits only your coffee table is not only awkward, but completely useless. It should be a soft surface that you walk or rest on, not your coffee table. At the end of the day, it is always better to buy a larger rug from a cheaper brand than a smaller one from an expensive brand. So whatever you do, don't buy one that is too small. If you already have a rug that is too small, you can rectify this by getting something plain and layering your rug. While many wallpapers come with realistic textures these days, faux brick and stone wallpapers often lack the texture and depth of the real thing. This makes it look cheap, and because it looks so fake, it is somewhat tacky. Now, if you really like the look of brick or stones or wanted to feature near a fireplace, look for a stone veneer wall panel. These are made from real stone but are only 1 to 2 centimeters deep, much like wood veneer in furniture which only covers the surface. Despite looking more realistic, I'll still be careful and not go overboard applying it everywhere in your home, especially if it goes against your home's architecture or setting. Using trendy items like this without regard to your home's architecture is a surefire way to turn your home dated real quick, which I cover in depth in this video on how to make your home timeless. Bowls filled with plastic fruits were quite popular back in the 70s and 80s, and I guess they do have its uses, especially when doing photo shoots or to look nice during gatherings. But with the number of decor items available today, I really don't think that we have to resort to displaying fake fruits just to get a pop of color. The worst part is that they collect dust like nothing else, and the material somehow makes it really hard to clean. Especially those with velvety finishes such as fake peaches that are a total nightmare. In my opinion, I don't think we need to make our home picture perfect at all times. Just display real fruit that you'll actually consume. Fake books are one of those cases where aesthetics are prioritized over functionality, which is completely fine if that is your thing. It was quite popular during the pandemic when people needed nice backdrops for their Zoom calls, so they ended up buying fake books as buying hundreds of real books was way too expensive. But in a world where there are millions of books to choose from, and millions others which you can get for peanuts in thrift shops, it does make me wonder, why do we resort to buying fake books? Even if it's purely for decor, real books can be donated and will be useful for someone else. But fake books? Those will just end up in the landfill. To my surprise, some of them are actually quite expensive. While on the topic of books, what is with stacking books back to front? I understand if it is done purely for photo shoot, but this should have never been a trend in the first place. You'll know it when you see it. It's one of those London buses or telephone booths on a black backdrop, or oversaturated Eiffel Tower prints. Other times, it's just random generic abstract art, or the 3-piece and 5-piece art that you often see on bargain sites. They are also generic, and the fact that it covers such a large surface area means it will instantly make your space feel generic as well. It is true that sometimes we just need something to fill in a blank wall, but I think there are other ways to do it a bit more tastefully, and still in an affordable manner. Maybe look into original artworks from vintage shops or flea markets. I got this one for $5 and I think it looks nice. Or collect art pieces from your travels so they hold some memories. I got this little art made from timber from my trip to regional Japan. Maybe look into family photos or little snapshots gathered throughout the years collated into one big piece. Otherwise, there are also plenty of original artworks that can be bought at an affordable price. Vertical blinds are probably one of the worst window treatment options out there. They are very noisy as all the vertical columns collide against each other when they are opened, or even when there's a slight breeze in the room. The constant swinging motion also subjects them to quite a lot of wear and tear. They are also a nightmare to clean, particularly the ones that have a textured surface, as dust tends to accumulate between the slats. Their vertical design also means that there is limited light control, as there is always a bit of light leakage between the slats. Not to mention, they just look cheap and plain ugly. The only times I've seen vertical blinds work well are those custom timber shutters that are an architectural feature of the home, but I can imagine that those will cost a fortune. If you're looking for blinds, I'll suggest getting Roman blinds which suit more traditional homes, or regular roller blinds that fit well in contemporary homes. Or if you're willing to make the swap to curtains, sheer curtains or a combination of sheer and blockout blind are very popular at the moment. It used to be really common for people to cover their furniture in thick layers of clear vinyl to keep it clean, but luckily it's a rare sight these days. While there were good intentions in preserving the resale value of furniture, wrapping furniture in plastic isn't particularly comfortable and they just look plain ugly. What is the point of buying nice furniture pieces if you're not going to enjoy it? The only time a plastic cover is warranted is to protect the fabric when undergoing renovations, moving home, or if you have an expensive piece to preserve in the storage. If it is out on display, my opinion is that you should just enjoy them. You can always put a throw or blanket for your kids or pets. Plastic covers are particularly uncomfortable on hot days as skin and plastic do not mesh well. Not to mention, they make a really unpleasant crackling sound as you get on and off furniture. So, unwrap your furniture and enjoy using it instead of waiting to resell it. Having a liquor graveyard display on top of your kitchen cupboard screams college dorm room or frat house. I'll give it a pass if you're a student, but once you've graduated, you need to get rid of this quintessential decor display. It is not only a dust collector, but also looks tacky and really messy. Leaving a fine bottle that still has liquid in it is completely fine, but once it is empty, throw them out. If you really love the bottle, perhaps reuse them, but don't leave an empty $50 liquor bottle on the shelf. The only exceptions are limited edition or bottles that are actually designed to be display pieces. This is a hill I'm willing to die on, but word decals are tacky, whether it's a Live Laugh Love quote printed onto a canvas, words like eat in the dining area, or some random word printed onto a mug or cushion. Look, I don't need anyone telling me where to take a dump or that the dining table is a place to eat. My opinion on decor pieces is that they should either be meaningful to you or that it looks nice and elevates a space. If it is neither of those, why even spend money on useless stuff that doesn't look good and has no meaning? I see this so often, especially on Airbnbs. Hobby Lobby has a bunch of these things everywhere, so I'm guessing that's one reason why it is so popular. Oh, and also Rae Dunn items. I guess they're not as bad and a few of these here and there is fine, but a whole kitchen full of random words and quotes is definitely not my thing. But like I've always mentioned, you should decorate your home the way you want. Even worse are wall stickers. I'm not sure why it is even a thing when there's so many nice wallpapers and murals or different choices of wall paneling that are available out there. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my video on design trends that are overdone and why you should stop chasing trends. Otherwise, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.